In a tale that shifts from inspiration to infamy, Ruby Franke, once celebrated as a guiding light for parents worldwide, faces a reality far removed from the glowing screens of YouTube fame. Today, we delve into a story of dissent, delusion, and the dire consequences of a path led astray. This is the story of Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt, sentenced to consecutive prison terms for aggravated child abuse. Welcome to In 5 Minutes, where we give all the recent happenings in 5 minutes. Ruby Franke, a figure once idolized by countless viewers for her seemingly impeccable approach to parenting and family dynamics, illuminated the digital world with her 8 Passengers YouTube channel. She became a cornerstone in the online community, guiding parents through the trials and tribulations of raising a family with a smile. Her life, shared openly across social media, painted a portrait of harmony and understanding, resonating with millions who sought solace and advice in her words and actions. Yet, the shining facade masked a grim underbelly, a reality far removed from the curated perfection displayed on screen. Unbeknownst to the adoring fans and the broader public, a dark undercurrent flowed through the Franke household, one that would eventually burst forth into the glaring spotlight of national attention. The unraveling began with whispers of concern, subtle at first, then growing louder as former fans and critics alike started to question the methods behind the Franke matriarch's parenting philosophy. Disciplinary actions, once brushed off as strict but necessary measures, began to cast long, ominous shadows as more details surfaced, hinting at practices that strayed far beyond the realm of conventional parenting wisdom. As the veil of the 8 Passengers channel began to fray, the true extent of the turmoil within the Franke home emerged, culminating in a shocking revelation that would shake the foundation of Ruby's online empire to its core. What had once been a beacon for parenting guidance now stood as a stark warning of the dangers lurking behind the pursuit of digital validation and the pressures of maintaining a flawless public image. The serene calm of August 2023 was shattered by an event that would mark the beginning of a tumultuous unraveling. It was on this fateful day that a young, 12-year-old boy, his frame emaciated and his spirit battered, found the courage to escape the confines of what should have been his sanctuary. Desperation led him to seek help, a silent plea for rescue from the unimaginable circumstances he endured within the walls of his own home. The boy's desperate journey for salvation didn't just expose his own plight, it pulled back the curtain on a harrowing scenario of abuse and neglect, orchestrated not by strangers, but by those entrusted with his care. Ruby Franke, a mother who once preached the virtues of parenting, and Jodi Hildebrandt, her partner in both business and in what would be revealed as a dark dance of manipulation and control. As the boy relayed his story to the concerned neighbor who had heeded his call for help, law enforcement was swiftly brought into the fold. What they uncovered was a reality far removed from the carefully curated image Franke had portrayed to the world. This young boy, driven by a will to survive, had lifted the veil on a grim tableau of deprivation and cruelty. Investigations would later reveal the chilling extent of the abuse. Franke and Hildebrandt had subjected their young charges to conditions that no child should ever experience. Food and water were withheld as punishment, physical harm was inflicted with cold precision, and psychological torment was a constant. These were not isolated incidents but a systematic campaign to break spirits and enforce obedience through fear. As the case moved to the courts, the gravity of their actions began to unfold in the full view of a public grappling with shock and betrayal. The courtroom, once a stage for the final act of justice, became a crucible where the harrowing details of abuse were laid bare, piece by piece, each revelation more shocking than the last. Charged with 4 counts of aggravated child abuse, Franke's fall from grace was swift. Her admission of guilt and the ensuing sentence, consecutive terms of 1 to 15 years, underscored a harrowing tale of control, punishment, and a misguided belief in extreme disciplinary measures. Ruby Franke's journey into the abyss was not a solitary one. By her side, Jodi Hildebrandt, once a respected clinical mental health counselor, became an integral part of the narrative that would unravel in such a tragic spectacle. This partnership forged a new, dangerous ideology, one that twisted the concepts of discipline and repentance into tools of control, masked beneath a veil of religious zeal and psychological coercion. Their alliance was more than just a meeting of minds. It was the merging of Franke's influence as a parenting advisor and Hildebrandt's expertise in mental health, creating a potent and ultimately destructive force. Together, they spun a web of ideologies, convincing themselves and attempting to convince others that their methods were not only justified but necessary for the spiritual and moral salvation of their charges. This was no haphazard venture into the darker aspects of control and discipline. Franke and Hildebrandt meticulously crafted a narrative, one that utilized religious fervor as both shield and spear. They spoke of repentance, not as a path to forgiveness and growth, but as a system of punishment and retribution, a tool to mold and manipulate young minds and spirits to their will. Theirs was a world where psychological manipulation became the norm. Hildebrandt's background in mental health gave her the tools to twist and bend the psyche, while Franke's platform provided an unsuspecting audience, ready to consume and, tragically, implement their distorted teachings. Together, they preached and practiced a doctrine of control, cloaked in the guise of caring and corrective discipline, leaving a trail of emotional and physical wreckage in their wake. As the truth began to surface, the stark dichotomy between the public facade and the private horrors became painfully evident. The narrative of discipline and repentance that Franke and Hildebrandt so fervently crafted was unraveled, piece by piece, revealing a deeply unsettling exploitation of trust and authority. Theirs was a partnership not in nurturing, but in the systematic breakdown of innocence and autonomy, a grim testament to the power of manipulation under the guise of mentorship and care. Franke's narrative is a cautionary tale of influence, isolation, and the intoxicating lure of power. Entranced by Hildebrandt's teachings, Franke distanced herself from family, friends, and eventually, reality. The Eight Passengers channel, once a beacon of parenting advice, became a facade for a much darker truth. The repercussions of Franke's actions reverberate far beyond the courtroom. A family fractured, children harmed, and a community in disbelief. The sentencing offers closure to some but serves as a stark reminder of the responsibilities wielded by those in positions of influence. Ruby Franke's journey from celebrated parent blogger to convicted child abuser is a somber narrative of lost way, a reminder of the fine line between guidance and control. As Franke and Hildebrandt begin their sentences, the hope for healing remains, for the children affected and a society grappling with the implications of their actions. This story, complex and cautionary, challenges us to reflect on the nature of influence, the responsibility of parenting, and the paths we choose. For now, Ruby Franke's chapter closes behind prison bars, but the lessons remain, echoing in the silence of what was once a vibrant family life. Thank you for watching. For more deep dives into compelling stories, don't forget to subscribe to In 5 Minutes. Until next time, keep seeking the truth behind the headlines.